when you surround yourself with people that go, yeah, that's normal what you're feeling right there. And nobody's judging you for it. Nobody's trying to fix you for it. Nothing like that. But let me see you, hear you, and give you a different perspective so you can just put a different lens on something. And in our last conversation we did too, the idea of like the people that we surround ourselves with. And, in the business entrepreneurial context, it's a mastermind, right? And we jump into masterminds or these programs and stuff to be able to surround ourselves with people that can give us the roadmap to ultimate success. And I know personally, and maybe Steve, you want to pick up on this, and I might be taking you off on a different path here if you had something to respond to with what we were just talking about. But I know for me, whenever, like just in the last 6 months, when I was looking around and thinking, okay, where's my next tribe? Where's my next community? Where's my next source of information and people that I want to be around? I defaulted back to just searching for that, right? Because I thought it already existed, because I didn't believe that ultimately I was the person that could create that myself. And that shifted, but it's come with a lot of bumps and pains along the way, mostly an internal conversation. And I know you've invested not just money, but time into a lot of things. And that was one of the things that Danielle and I are most interested in talking to you about, really, was like what your evolution on that has been and where you are now, like in this moment with that concept of like your tribe and your community and where you consume information to shape your beliefs.
Well, it depends on what beliefs we're talking about,
Let's go there.
if we're talking about the deepest beliefs of existence, to me, that's relatively easy. I start with the Bible. I happen to believe it's the inspired word of God, believe that or not. I'm not here to convince you of that one way or another, but certainly it's hard to argue that it's not a valuable documentation of collected wisdom of the ages, right? Because we spent a lot of time writing that and copying that book for a very, very long, thousands and thousands of years. So I tend to turn there, and fortunate to, over the last couple of years, have read through more or less end to end the entire thing about 3 times now. And there's a through line there that I think reveals a lot about the human experience. And at the end of the day, I think it's a very hopeful story and through line. But so that's where I go for those deeper questions. From a business perspective, I mean, obviously, a lot of that wisdom carries over. You see a lot of the similar ideas show up in other areas of philosophy, particularly the Greeks and the Stoics. But, on a more practical level, where do I look to figure out how am I going to invest my, advertising and business development dollars? That's a whole different sort of question, right? And I think that goes to some of what you're asking about mastermind. There are these really deep questions that we could be exploring, right? But there's also some really practical level questions. And who's my next tribe that I'm going to be around that's maybe going to help me get to that next level from an entrepreneurial perspective? I've been in a lot of different masterminds, and a lot of times you got people who are just pretending. And it took me a little while to realize that. I'm much better at spotting that now than I used to be. And I just find that I want to be around people who are building real businesses that have longevity, where they have a mission beyond, as Danielle put it earlier, a mission beyond just greed, because there are entrepreneurs that it's all about the money for them. But for me, I like to, and I'm kind of attracted to being around other people who are building something that's bigger than themselves. I'm actually surprised that that's as hard to find as it is, because I don't think most entrepreneurs are actually on that path. I think they're either on the path of trying to make a decent living, and there's nothing wrong with that, or their vision isn't big enough. So they're not on a path. They're running a business. They're not building something that's going to exist beyond them. And so that's what I look for. So to kind of bring this around full circle, that if that's the question that you asked, that's kind of how I've come to filter it.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed that clip and you want to watch the full unedited episode, go ahead and click over here. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe. It really does mean a lot to me. Thanks so much.